Hello, everybody. Welcome to Cozy Conversations. This podcast is going to be a sanctuary for self-discovery and growth for both you and I. If you don't know me, my name is Cameron, and I'm thrilled to be able to experience this transformative journey with you. Together, we will grow closer to ourselves and the world around us. I created this space because I genuinely love having meaningful conversations. And I feel like when we're able to have meaningful conversations, we're able to hold a space of empathy with one another. In this sacred space, we'll explore the depths of our inner world, nurturing our connections to higher selves and nurturing the connection that we have to those around us and the parts of us that we may not be super fond of. Together, we're going to get cozier to the aspects of ourselves that crave attention, compassion, and understanding. We're going to do this through having open-hearted conversations, mindful reflections, and inspiring stories that we share amongst one another. We'll navigate life's transitions and growth, as well as opportunities. Our aim is to become cozier with ourselves, our peers, and the world around us, creating a space for us to embrace one another's imperfections and celebrate our unique journeys together. Before we start, I would like all of us to take a deep breath. And I would also like to start the podcast by saying thank you for sharing your time with me, because time is the most valuable thing that we can offer one another. So it's just something that was passed down through generations. And I think once I discovered that it was never my it was never my issue that made me dim my light, it allowed me to start embracing my light. I want to say that, when we embrace our own light, we understand that the things that we go through, the circumstances, whether they're bad or good, that they are for our highest self and that they don't dim any part of us, but they simply help us grow into our higher selves. Yes, life is not fair, and I do truly believe that those who go through awful things are not deserving of them. But I have come to discover that we were not guaranteed peace in this human journey, but rather an experience full of all emotions. And the only thing we can control is our perception of what it is that we are experiencing. I want to emphasize perception, because if you choose to walk into any new season or experience with the idea that you are here to learn and you are going to grow through what it is that is presented to you, the outcome of it being positive is higher than if you were to say, this bad thing's happening to me. This season of my life is hard. Whereas you have to go through this season of your life in order to meet your highest self. We go through things that are going to put us in positions of power. For example, you can never grow if you're not uncomfortable. And if you don't ever experience discomfort, you're always going to stay very stagnant. I want you to think of your mind as a garden. And the negative perceptions, thoughts, and feelings you have are weeds. And when you have them, I want you to envision you pulling out the weeds. Don't be gentle with them either, because when you get those negative thoughts, you ain't gentle with yourself. You be beating yourself up, and it's okay, because me too. But that's why I envision myself pulling out the weeds, and I try to plan it with something positive. I try to change my perception of what it is that I am experiencing. If you would all like an example, I can give you one. I work better when I have examples too. So, one that's personal, and I'll relate it to this. I thought, in my head, I would say, what you are saying is not worthy enough to be on a podcast. That's a weed. That's the devil trying to come in. That's that bad energy trying to come in and still your light is trying to dim your light. So when I have those thoughts, I plant a seed of I am here to spread love and positivity, and that's what I am doing. And my voice deserves to be heard because I was put here on this earth with a purpose. So for example, you can do that for something else that is in your life. Say you have relationship issues and you could be this relationship is really bad. This relationship is toxic. No, this relationship is teaching you what it is that you like and what it is that you don't like in a person. So rather than perceiving it as something bad, think of it as a way to grow closer to your truest self. I ask you to plant the flower because it has been scientifically proven that if you think positive thoughts, thoughts that benefit you, they will create a domino effect, as vice versa with the weeds that we also allow in your mind. This is a mindful practice that should be practiced throughout the time we are here on this human experience. To share a story with you all, I watched this other podcaster named Jay Shetty. He definitely helped me along my spiritual journey and just my journey of growing as a person. And I would definitely recommend watching him, but he's a monk, and something that I learned from him that I would like to share with all of you that really helped me transform my life. This is somebody who studied basically what it is to have mindfulness for years, and they still feel this way. But the story was, he said that before he became a monk, he had this idea that after he became a monk, he would create eternal peace within his mind. But he soon discovered while along his journey that peace didn't exist in the way he thought it would, because you would always have things that happen to you and around you, things that you have no control over. But it was a practice to react to the things in such a way that embodied peace and positivity, a teaching that needed to be practiced every day, with some days more better than others. For example, maybe you have a coworker that just pisses you off, and every day, maybe they might say something to you that makes you mad. But if you practice having peace and that mindfulness, whatever they say, it will soon start to not even have an effect on you, because you will learn that the power is within you and it's not within them. So therefore, your power comes when you realize oh, okay, although I might not like what they say, I can control my response to this. And is this something that I'm going to let hinder my happiness? And the more you make yourself aware to these situations, the easier it becomes to practice these mindful meditations, because that's exactly what they are. Every time you realign yourself back, you're practicing a mindful meditation. Hearing this information from me was a sigh of relief, because I have this idea that one day, or before I heard this, I had this idea that one day I was going to wake up and be peaceful and no one was going to piss me off and I was never going to get mad and I was never going to get sad. But that's a lie. And I still experience all of the worldly emotions. The beautiful thing about feeling anger, though, and frustrations, and the feelings that we may not be so proud of, is that they are an eye-opener to bring us to the parts of ourselves that we must honor. If someone treats you bad and it makes you mad and angry, rather than being like, you make me so mad, I don't like you, you can see it as, okay, I see that I don't like when people treat me this way. So therefore, I need to create space between me and people that may treat me in the ways that I don't feel honor me. Do not feel shame for feeling what would be considered a dark emotion, because it is just bringing you closer to yourself. It is allowing you the opportunity to see what it is that you value and what you don't. And like I said before, you're only human. If you didn't experience the thunderstorms and the rain, you wouldn't be able to appreciate the sunshine and the rainbows, because they always come. I understand that this is all much easier said than done. And trust me, I'm still learning and I still have to practice this every day myself. And some days are better than others. The whole goal of the podcast is to create a space that I can hold you accountable and you can hold me accountable, and we can give each other constant reminders that this is what we need to embody to create a life of mindfulness and peace. Thank you for watching. I pray that we walk into the next day ahead with clear minds and hearts, allowing what was said through this podcast to really sit in our spirit and remind us that we are able to create the beautiful life in an environment that we do not need to escape from. Thank you everybody for watching, and hugs until next time.